Music is pretty much everywhere. It's this universal language that can cross any border, no passport needed. But have you ever stopped to think that it's more than just background noise? It actually has some incredible, almost hidden powers over us. In this explainer, we're going to dig in and uncover just how deep that connection really goes. I mean, you've felt that, right? You're having a totally rough day, you put on that one specific song, and bam, suddenly things feel just a little bit brighter. Or, the opposite, when a sad song just hits you right in the feels and brings you to tears. And nope, you're not just imagining it. There is a real, scientific reason for that powerful shift.
And that reason is rooted in some pretty serious science. So let's kick things off by looking at what's actually happening inside our brains when the music starts playing. It's kind of like the ultimate brain hack.
I know that sounds a little dramatic, but from a neurological standpoint, music has a direct and, honestly, an incredibly potent effect on your brain chemistry. Okay, so the key ingredient here is this stuff, dopamine. When you listen to a piece of music you absolutely love, your brain's reward system just lights up. What makes music so powerful is how it plays with our expectations, building up all that tension and then, boom, that satisfying release. That feeling of anticipation is what triggers this feel-good chemical. So that sensation of getting chills from a powerful crescendo, yeah, that's your brain getting a literal dopamine hit. And the benefits don't just stop at feeling good. They're amazingly comprehensive. We're talking about things like improved memory. There are studies showing students who listen to classical music can actually recall information better. Music can also actively reduce your stress and physically lower your blood pressure. It's almost like a full-body tune-up, and all you have to do is listen.
So we know what music does to our brains today. But how far back does this uniquely human connection actually go? Well, it turns out it's an ancient one, like really ancient. Take a look at this number, over 40,000. Any guesses what that might represent in the history of music?
That's right, 40,000 years. That's how long ago archaeologists have dated the very first known musical instruments, these amazing little flutes carved from bird bones. It just brilliantly illustrates our ancient primal need to create music. Now, contrast that with 1910, when modern headphones were invented. And get this, they weren't even made for music lovers, but for telephone operators. It really puts our personal, on-demand playlists into a fascinating perspective, doesn't it?
All right, so from our ancient past, let's jump into some of the more surprising and, frankly, weird and wonderful ways music shows up in our world.
Think about the music you grew up with. Most of us in the Western world are super familiar with the 7-note scale. Do, re, mi. But that is not a universal rule, not even close. Other cultures build their entire musical language on scales with just 5 or even as many as 12 notes, creating sounds and harmonies that can feel completely new and different to our ears. And yet, even with all those differences, some things do manage to achieve global reach. The guitar is a perfect example. I mean, from rock and roll to folk, from flamenco to pop, its incredible versatility has made it one of the most beloved and recognizable instruments on the entire planet. It's a true cultural connector. Okay, here's another number for you. Over 13 hours. Can you even imagine listening to a single, continuous piece of music for more than half a day? Well, you don't have to imagine it, because it actually exists. It's a composition called long player. What's absolutely mind-blowing about this is that it's designed to play without any repetition for a full 1,000 years. It started on January 1st, 2000, and it's scheduled to finish on the very last day of 2999. Talk about an epic track. And the surprising connections just keep coming. It isn't even limited to humans. Research actually shows that bees can recognize and react differently to various tunes. Pretty wild, right? And at the same time, our relationship with music technology is full of surprises too. Even as streaming just takes over everything, there's this fascinating trend pulling us back to the analog past. Vinyl records are making a huge comeback, with listeners craving that warm, rich sound that digital files just can't seem to match. So after seeing how music affects our brains, our history, and even the world around us, what does all of this really mean for you? All of this, from ancient flutes to modern dopamine hits, it all informs the personal soundtrack you create for your own life. The music you choose to score your moments with has a real, tangible impact. So after everything we've looked at today, it really makes you think, what's playing on your soundtrack today?